It was supposed to be a normal family brunch. A sunny Sunday morning at an expensive country club. White tables, soft music, crystal glasses shining under the light. People laughed loudly, pretending life was perfect. This was my brother Ryan's favorite place. He loved being seen here. Loved showing people he had made it. Ryan sat at the center of the table, talking big as always. His voice carried over everyone else's. He wore a tailored suit, flashed his watch, and spoke about business like he owned the world. I sat quietly beside my children. I didn't interrupt. I never did. Ryan believed silence meant weakness. Then suddenly, he leaned forward, looked straight at my 10-year-old daughter Olivia and smiled, not a kind smile, but a sharp one. "Listen," he said loudly, making sure others could hear. "Don't grow up to be like your mom." The words hit the table like broken glass. Olivia froze. Ryan continued, enjoying the moment. "She rents. She consults. She owns nothing. That's not a legacy. That's failure." A few people nearby glanced over. Some smiled awkwardly. No one stopped him. My daughter's eyes filled with confusion. Her small hands tightened around her fork. She didn't understand money ownership or status, but she understood shame. Children always do. I felt it then. Not anger. Not sadness. Something colder. I slowly reached over and wiped a bit of syrup from Olivia's cheek, pretending everything was normal. My hands didn't shake. My face stayed calm. Ryan waited for a reaction. He wanted tears, he wanted drama. He wanted me to defend myself so he could crush me again. But I didn't give him that. I checked my watch. 11:42 I folded my napkin carefully and placed it beside my untouched plate. I stood up smoothly, without rushing. Ryan laughed loudly. "Running away already?" He called out. "Relax. I'm just motivating you." I didn't look at him. I knelt beside Olivia and took her hand. It was cold. Too cold. "Come on," I said gently. "We're leaving." We walked past the tables, past the people who suddenly avoided eye contact. Past the valet who knew Ryan's name but only knew me as the sister. In the parking lot. The silence felt heavy but not weak. As I buckled Olivia into the car, she whispered, her voice barely there. "Mom, is Uncle Ryan right?" That was the moment everything changed. I paused, closed the door softly, and looked at my reflection in the window. The woman staring back wasn't broken. She was done waiting. I leaned against the car, pulled out my phone, and opened a contact saved under one name only. Jared. I typed 2 short sentences. No anger, no emotion, just action. Ryan was still laughing inside the club. He had no idea his world had already started to collapse. The car ride away from the country club was quiet. Too quiet. Olivia stared out of the window, watching tall gates and luxury cars disappear behind us. Her shoulders were stiff, like she was holding something heavy inside her chest. Children do that when they don't have the words yet. I didn't turn on the radio. Silence was better. After a few minutes she spoke. Her voice was small. "Mom, is Uncle Ryan right?" I tightened my grip on the steering wheel, but my voice stayed calm. "No," I said. "He's just loud." She looked at me unsure. Loud people often sound confident. That's how they trick others, and themselves. I pulled into a quiet street and parked for a moment. I needed her to hear me clearly. Some people build noise. I told her. Others build things. There's a difference. She nodded, not fully understanding but trusting me. That trust mattered more than anything. When we reached the park, Olivia ran toward the swings, trying to shake off what had happened. I watched her move back and forth, higher each time, like she was chasing the sky. Children heal faster than adults, if you protect them. I sat on a bench and finally pulled out my phone. I opened an encrypted messaging app, and clicked on a single contact. Jared. To the world, Jared was my brother's chief operating officer. To Ryan, he was a loyal employee who handled boring details. To me, Jared was insurance. 3 years ago, when Ryan's company was drowning in debt, I hired Jared quietly. He reported to Ryan, but answered to me. I typed carefully. "Activate the clause, emergency shareholder meeting. Today, 3 p.m. I sent it. The message showed as delivered, then read no reply. Jared never replied to messages like this. He didn't need to. People always ask how my brother never knew the truth. The answer is simple. Ryan only noticed power when it was loud. He saw my rented house, my sensible car, my quiet work life, and decided I had failed. He never asked questions because he didn't care about answers that didn't feed his ego. What Ryan didn't know was this. I wasn't a consultant, I was an investor. While he was chasing titles and attention, I was buying debt. While he leased luxury, I bought ownership. 3 years ago, when the banks were ready to take everything from him, I stepped in, not as a sister, but as a business decision. I created a shell company. I bought his bad loans. I injected capital. In return, I took control. Ryan thought a faceless firm from New York had saved him. He never imagined it was the sister he mocked at every family dinner. Because in his mind, I was invisible. At the park, Olivia jumped off the swing and ran toward me, smiling again. "Where are we going next?" she asked. I smiled back. "To work," I said. She laughed, thinking I was joking. I wasn't. I checked the time. 11:48 am. Ryan was probably ordering another drink, telling another story about his success. He had no idea that by the end of the day, he wouldn't be the owner of his company anymore. He would finally learn the difference between looking powerful and being powerful. By the time we reached the city, the sky had started to change. The bright afternoon sun was fading into something colder, sharper, like the calm before a storm. I parked the car in the underground garage of Ryan's company headquarters, a tall glass building he loved to call his legacy. Olivia looked up at it, impressed. "Uncle Ryan works here?" she asked. "He works here," I corrected softly. "He doesn't own it." She frowned, confused, but followed me inside. The lobby smelled of polish and money. People moved quickly, holding tablets and coffee cups, pretending they were important. Most of them had seen me before. To them, I was just the quiet sister who sometimes stopped by. No one stopped us. The elevator doors closed. And as we rose higher, I felt years of silence fall away. I wasn't nervous, I wasn't angry, I was clear. When the doors opened on the executive floor, Jared was waiting. Calm, prepared, no surprises on his face. "He's in the boardroom," Jared said quietly. "He thinks you're coming to apologize." I nodded. "Let's correct that." The boardroom was made of glass, 3 walls of it. Ryan loved that design. He liked being seen. He liked feeling watched. He sat at the head of the table, scrolling on his phone, smiling at something on the screen. When we walked in, he didn't even look up at first. "About time," he said. "I hope you brought your checkbook." His smile dropped. "What is this?" he snapped. "Why is the kid here?" I didn't answer. I pulled out a chair for Olivia. "Sit here," I said gently. "You can draw." Ryan stood up, angry now. "This is a business meeting. Jared, call security." Jared didn't move. Instead, he walked to the door and locked it. The sound echoed. Ryan turned pale. I sat down at the opposite end of the table and slid a thick file folder across the polished surface. It stopped right in front of him. "Open it," I said. He laughed nervously. "What is this, another excuse?" He opened the folder. His eyes moved quickly at first, then slower. Confusion, shock, fear, the ownership documents, the debt acquisition, the signature at the bottom. "Mine. This isn't real?" he whispered. "You don't have this kind of money." "I do," I replied calmly. "Because I didn't spend it trying to look rich." He looked at Jared, desperate. "Tell her she's lying." Jared didn't hesitate. "She's the majority shareholder," he said. "She signs both our paychecks." Ryan collapsed back into his chair. The room was silent. For the first time in his life, there was no audience to impress. No joke to hide behind. No volume loud enough to escape the truth. I leaned forward slightly. "You called me a failure," I said. "But the only thing you ever owned was the illusion." Outside the glass walls, the city moved on. Inside, Ryan's world was falling apart, and it had only just begun. The silence in the boardroom felt heavy, like the air before a storm breaks. Ryan stared at the papers in front of him, as if they might disappear if he looked long enough. His hands trembled slightly. The man who once filled rooms with noise had suddenly lost his voice. I nodded toward Jared. "Show him everything." Jared pressed a button, and the large screen on the wall lit up. Rows of numbers appeared, clean, organized, impossible to argue with. "This is the audit," Jared said calmly. "Completed this morning." Ryan squinted at the screen. First came the car. "A Porsche lease," Jared continued. "Expensed as client transportation." Ryan opened his mouth to speak, but no sound came out. Then the apartment. "Penthouse rent," Jared said. Listed as corporate housing. More numbers followed. Country club fees, luxury dinners, designer suits, personal travel. Each line peeled away another layer of Ryan's confidence. You've been charging your entire lifestyle to the company, Jared finished. For years. Ryan slammed his hands on the table. I'm the CEO. I have to look successful. I leaned forward, my voice steady. You don't own the car, I said. The company does. You don't own the apartment. The company rents it. You don't even own the suit you're wearing. His face drained of color. You built your image on debt, I continued. And debt always collects. Ryan's eyes darted around the room, searching for sympathy for family. We're siblings, he said weakly. You can't do this to me. I met his gaze without emotion. I didn't do this to you, you did it to yourself. He dropped into his chair, breathing hard. Please, he whispered. Give me time. I'll fix it. I felt nothing, not anger, not revenge, just clarity. I stood up. You're not being destroyed, I said. You're being corrected. I turned back to Jared. Effective immediately. I said the car is repossessed. The penthouse lease is terminated. Country club membership cancelled. Ryan shook his head. Where am I supposed to live? You'll rent, I replied calmly. Like you said I do. The words hit him harder than any insult. And as for your position, I continued. You are no longer CEO. Ryan looked up sharply. What? You're demoted to junior account manager. Salary capped at $50,000. He laughed in disbelief. I can't survive on that. I do, I said, and I raise a child. I held out my hand. Keys. Ryan stared at the car keys on the table. His fingers hovered, shaking. Slowly, painfully, he placed them into my palm. They were cold. You will report to Jared every morning, I said. You will learn what things actually cost. You will learn what responsibility feels like. I turned to Olivia. See, I said gently, power isn't about being loud. It's about owning the keys. Ryan slumped back in his chair, empty now. The man who once called my children failures had lost everything that made him feel important. The mask was gone. All that remained was the truth, and the lesson wasn't over yet. We didn't stay in the building long after that. There was nothing left to say. As Olivia and I walked down the quiet hallway, the sound of our footsteps felt lighter than when we had arrived. The tension was gone. Not because someone had lost, but because the truth had finally been spoken. In the elevator, Olivia stood close to me. She didn't ask questions. She had seen enough. When the doors opened to the lobby, warm afternoon light poured in through the glass. The city looked different now, not intimidating, not impressive, just real. Outside, I handed the car keys to Jared. Sell it, I said. Put the money back into the company. He nodded. Good to see you, Sophia. You too, I replied. We walked to my car, a simple, reliable sedan. Not flashy. Not borrowed. Mine. On the drive home, Olivia broke the silence. Mom, is Uncle Ryan going to be okay? I thought for a moment. He's going to be tired, I said honestly. And uncomfortable. But yes, he'll be okay. She nodded slowly. He'll finally have to earn what he has, I added. And that's not a bad thing. We pulled into the driveway of our rental home. For the first time, it didn't feel small, it felt safe. Strong. Like a place built on choice, not fear. That night, we ordered pizza and ate on the couch, laughing at a silly movie. No celebration, no victory speech, just peace. After Olivia went to bed, I opened my laptop at the kitchen table. My inbox was full of normal business updates, but one email stood out. From Ryan. No subject line, one sentence. I'll be there at 8. I stared at it for a moment, then archived it. No reply was needed. Some lessons don't require words. Later, Olivia came out with her math book and dropped it beside me. Can you help me? She asked. Always, I smiled. What are you learning? Compound interest. I pulled her chair closer. It's what happens when you do smart things over time, I said, quietly. While others are busy showing off. She nodded, pencil moving steadily across the page. She wasn't loud. She wasn't flashy. She was building. As I watched her, I realized something. My brother had spent his life trying to be a firework, loud, bright, desperate to be seen. I had spent mine becoming the sky, silent, wide, and owning everything the fireworks tried to light up. Success isn't about shouting the loudest. It's about knowing who you are, and owning it long before anyone else notices. He called my kids family failures. And by sunset, he was working for me.